midnight riders to the spark igniters. I am on my way. Let it be said and let it be known, he who is free is never alone. The path before us, the world behind us, I'll wait for you there. I am on my way. I am on my way. To the lost ark raiders, to the lion tamers, to the stowaway, to the white tide chaser, to the black flag raiser. I'm on my way. Let it be said and let it be known, he who is free is never alone. The path before us, the world behind us, I'll wait for you there. I am on my way. 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 There's a song that sailors know, lost, alone, and far from home. With golden galleons, golden guns to find their place under the sun. There's a song on the Sahara wind that lifts you to your feet again. The dances on the clockwork stars that pulses through a beating heart. My way. There's a song that sailors know, lost, alone, and far from home. Golden galleons, golden guns to find their place under the sun. There's a song on the Sahara wind that lifts you to your feet again. Dances on the clockwork stars that pulses through a beating heart.
enchantments. I guess.
You think you've got what it takes. Challenge the one in best of one. You know right where to find me.
We have returned to the CGB Dojo, the Cool Kids Club Dojo.
When you go up against the one in best of one, it's a tough battle.
I fear no goblin. If I make you feel bad for goblins, I'm doing my job, guys. I like taking that cool thing that the opponent's excited about doing and squashing it.
True villain mode has been activated.
Why won't you die? Never didn't have it. You cry those tears, opponent. The only one in best of one.
There's only one in best of one.
Oh my god! Let the nonsense begin. You know this? You know this one? Do ya? Have you heard it before? Ladies and gentlemen, I bring to you the one, the only. It's just me. I'm sorry. Oh, coming in baiting you guys hard. Did you think Arjuna was back? I'm sorry. I didn't, it wasn't planned. I didn't plan to do this to you. I really didn't. I wish he was. I hit play on Spotify and this is what came on and I did something mean. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me. If I baited you, forgive me. We can just enjoy the music, right? If you're new around here, I was part of a multi-year, very popular podcast, the Arena Craft Podcast, with your amazing host, Arjuna. It was awesome, and this was our theme music. Many of you know. I miss him. I miss him a lot. I'm sad it had to end. I'd do it. If he called me and said, let's do it, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. But sadly not to be. I hope wherever he is, he's doing well. I hope he's killing it. High quality individual. And the music lives on, man. The music's a banger. How you doing? How's your murders going? You guys looking for a new deck? Let's see what we can do. That is what I try to do here. Former Florida man, I don't know what you're talking about. I murdered that variation of myself. Michigan man in full effect. Fresh off a recording session for the worst possible last night. I played Alquist Proft, Sphinx's Revelation in the command zone. The only commander as good looking as me. Shay on Aurelia, the law above. Boros Commander, right up her alley. This episode will probably be out not this weekend, but the weekend after, just so you know. Yep. I cannot spell Aurelia off the top of my head to save my life. Do I not have any? That's Shay's commander right there. Ooh. I think a fun side bet for you crazy people would be who draws more cards off their commander. Me, CGB, with Alquist Proft in my command zone, a card that literally says draw X cards and gain X life on it. Who draws more cards off their commander, me or Shay with Aurelia, the law above? I think that would be a fun side bet. Not that I endorse gambling. Are you allowed to just endorse gambling now? It feels like everybody does. Blake played. Where'd it go? Where's the Is It Viashino thingy? I don't know the name of this card. Krylox. What? How do you... Kylox. Visionary Inventor. Is this not a Blake commander all the way? Dude, terrifying. Every time this thing tries to go to combat, it's terrifying. And Ben. Our beloved Ben. You know it. You love it. Here's another thing you could side bet. How many combats does Ben take? Does Ben take more combats than the rest of us combined? Oh my god. I have now played against this card in Commander, guys. Oh my god. There are so many ways in Commander to make this thing indestructible, trample, must be blocked. It just felt like it would never end. You're gonna enjoy the episode. It's a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun making it. Probably not out this weekend, but the weekend after. I don't think there's an episode this weekend because I was on vacation, and we recorded as many as we could, but we didn't get every single weekend filled. So if you're looking for Worst Possible this weekend, go catch up on some of the old ones. They hold up. Rank or shenanigans? How did you know? Are you peeping on us during our recording session, Canthus? I got my eye on you. All right, but as for today, we need a standard deck. I've got a few things in process. These are my blue-white decks. I love them, but they're not very new or fresh. I played against this deck that used Trumpeting Carnosaur and all cards that were super expensive, including some of these cards from the new set with like big time double E casting costs. And it played Carnosaur with a whole bunch of clones. So Carnosaur comes down, clones itself, clones itself, clones itself, clones itself, and then gets Nahiri's Resolve to give them all haste. It was wowzers. I'm telling you, it was some memey stuff. But it was scary. Kroki's played someone recently who Hitsugu and Kairi into push-pull. Push-pull? What does that even mean? Is that the one that pulls things out of the graveyard? So it would get back to Hitsugu and Kairi and do it again? Kinda? Hey. Whoa. Funky. Funky. Funky, funky, funky. The other thing I want to do is roots. I feel like everywhere I look, somebody's doing roots. I feel like I watch Ash do roots and Jim Davis do roots and Kroki's do roots, and I want to do roots. It feels like I'm supposed to do roots because like before everybody's done roots. And at this point, I might already be too late. I don't know. Roots looks pretty fun. These are the cards I set aside so far for it. Let's brew some roots. You guys want to brew some roots? All right. What goes in roots? So, just a reminder: Insidious Roots. Creature tokens you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color. Whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard, create an 0/1 green plant creature token, then put a +1/+1 counter on each plant you control. I haven't like studied anybody's deck list. I just, you know, I jump into their streams or I turn on a video for a few minutes and I just see boards of like endless giant flat plants and I'm like, holy crap, you know? So what goes in here? What do you guys play? Dread Knight sounds right. I don't know. This might be a little too mid-range. It seems like it goes perfect, but it might be too slow, you know? But we'll think about it. The new dog is good. Yeah. Gorehound right there. Yep. Willow Geist. Never actually played this card. Trample. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a counter on it. When it dies, you gain life. I mean, it works with our deck, I guess. It's kind of like, it's a second payoff like Roots. It doesn't enable roots. It's your second payoff. So we can't have too many other payoffs. Scrap Gorger. Feels like that's good, doesn't it? Roots gives you an over-the-top angle fair decks usually don't get, so you play a mid-range shell. Does that mean I have to run, like, go for the throat? Probably. We have to not die. I don't know. Old Rusting fills the graveyard. Doesn't get things out of the graveyard. I do like Old Rusting in Best of One, though. I think it's a little underrated to have 4 toughness on that bod. You know what I mean? All on that bod. Underdog? Underdog does come out of the graveyard. It's really expensive. Might be room for 1. Like, this might be a really hard deck to build. I have a feeling there's too many cards. Every time I've seen somebody build this, there's too many cards. I saw Jim Davis run the Blossoming Tortoise. Didn't love it. Thought it was a little bit too expensive, and it doesn't work with roots, really. Cauldron is interesting if we have things with activated abilities like the Scrap Gorger. But if that's our only activated ability, I don't know about that. Tyvar. I don't want the spider. Spider seems stupid. It's too expensive now, right? Sprout. Yeah, there's too much stuff, man. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill a card. If there are 3 or more creature cards in your graveyard, transform it. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you may exile a card. If your creature was exiled, put a counter on it. And that seems good too. Fester Leech does have an ability. God, there might just be too much here, you know? It's too much. We gotta stop. We got a problem. We gotta stop. So, good news, guys. A lot of the cards are cheap. That is a very good thing. Now, some of these cards both like help do the thing and enable. So like Fairy Dream Thief is an interesting one because you can exile it like on its own. It doesn't need another card to exile it from the graveyard to get the trigger, create the trigger. My goodness. All right. Also, we don't want to die. Bitter Affliction, and what's the new one? Long Goodbye? Is that right? So it like so many ways to kill things in black, dude. Holy crap. We were on a trophy? Oh, wait. Oh, what's the collect evidence thing? Oh, and Gix's command also removes creatures from graveyard, right? If I'm reading this right? Whenever one or more creature cards leave your graveyard. That's interesting. Like one of those, maybe? You surprise them? So a bit of mid-range, a bit of synergy. We might not even want these, to be honest. This card absolutely destroyed me. When I played against it, it still doesn't look good. That's the weird thing. It kicked my butt, and it still doesn't look good to me. And we're already at 60 cards. We're not even close to like any kind of a consensus on any of this. 1, 2, I'll go to 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You don't have a trophy in here either. 8, 9, 10. Is 10 too much removal? Probably. X is the total mana value of permanents the spell targets. The problem with the removal is it's not synergistic. You know? It doesn't work with the rest of the deck at all. That's frustrating. I was thinking it doesn't fill the graveyard. This fills the graveyard. Extract a confession. I think you've said it like 4 times. If you're wrong, you're banned. You're gonna stake your chat life on this one being good. Collect evidence 6. Nope. Nope. Ban him. There must be consequences for recklessly promoting trash to my community. Something like that. Is this creature a planeswalker? It is. We don't need Bitter Triumph. Maybe we don't even need Go for the Throat. Some amount of these. I think if they ever call my bluff, I feel so bad I don't want to run it, which is weird, but here we are. This was great against me. It triggers off so much, right? Whenever another creature with power 2 or less, like triggers off most of this stuff. It does not trigger off Dread Knight. So if we're leaning into the Gorehound, the Dread Knight might be sus. I want to really up the cheap cards. Because that makes Pylon really good, right? Man, his Scrap Gorger seems like a bit of an engine. I'm telling you, man, the Dread Knight seems too mid-range. Do we have enough activated abilities? We don't have many, that's for sure. It's really just... Yeah, I don't think this is it. I don't think this is it. Beginning of your upkeep. Okay, then if there are 3 or more creature cards. I mean, that seems doable, but let's see the creature count. We're at 24. Getting to 3 or more creatures seems reasonable. You definitely have to keep filling the graveyard. Almost everything has to fill the graveyard except the roots and the Geist. Like, this helps exit the graveyard, it doesn't fill it. This fills it. I think this is better then. This exits the graveyard on its own. This exits the graveyard on its own. This makes something exit. This potentially exits. This fills. Let's sort. All right, fills, exits, payoff. Fills. Oh yeah, and the Holy Grail is like does both. So like the last card here, the Kirin Touched by Orochi Maru, attacks and exiles a card from a graveyard that can be both fills, like Dream Thief, fills and exits, right? This fills and exits. Yeah, so these are like the gold standard. This fills. This fills. This exits. Need a balance. Need a balance. So fills and exits are like top tier. Like I think those are the cards you most want. And then the other cards that do something in between have to be decent. I think the only reason we're running Tyvar is because we have Gorger. If Gorger goes, Tyvar goes. But this does do both, doesn't it? Actually, it fills and exits. It mills? It does. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Ashnod's thingy. Harvester. When it attacks, exile, and it unearths. Seems really narrow. I like... So the turn you use this, you get 2 triggers. And it's only 2 mana for 2 triggers. That's the appeal. Why do I have the style? I guess we should try it because we have the style. So this is both, right? No, it doesn't fill. This is just exit. We have life gain from Willow Geist. We have board presence. Maybe we don't need Trespasser. It's not what it used to be. Man, I don't know if I'm supposed to run Gix's command. I feel like we need something to do with the mana we can make, and I feel like this is great against the creature. Just the dump your hand creature decks. This seems like it should be good. This seems expensive. Sprout. I actually worry about drawing too many sprouts. And we have so many 1-drops already. But it does in a way do both, right? It's slow, but it does both. If we focus on the things that do both, we don't have to worry so much about everything else being the perfect payoff. And the Gorehound seems like an amazing miller, though. It seems like it's going to fill the graveyard a lot. Yeah, I just think Dread Knight's slow, guys. I think it's mana intensive. I think this deck can be better than that. Stalker might even be slow. Undead Butler would be perfect. No. No, that's just kind of a dorky little card, I think. I'm not a fan of Virtue. I love Virtue. This is obviously not a Virtue deck. There's nothing about this that says it's a Virtue deck. Like 7 mana, we're not paying that. We need to kill him way before then. And 2 mana for a removal spell when we could be running like Pylon and also filling our graveyard is stupid. Can this be a 22 land deck? Maybe it can. I mean, look how low to the ground it is. Crazy. Yeah, let's go 22. Let's try the 22 land special. It's a creature deck. Yeah, I don't know about these tap lands. That's frustrating. Best land in the deck by far is the Llanowar Wastes. It's gonna be really hard to play our stuff on curve, I think. Like, our types are definitely not, they're all over the place. We can't be a Cavern deck. There need to be more lands that tap for colorless or tap for 1 mana of any color to play a creature. There's, like, they're a payoff for Typal, but man, some of these lands are it's rough, you know. Like, I don't want to run a whole bunch of Deathcap Glades, but I guess I have to. Okay. We have turn 1 black and green requirements, lots of them. Like, we really want an untapped land so bad. Maybe we're just supposed to run a lot more. I feel like Cottage is good enough that we can play it on like turn 3 or something when we're playing other 2-drops and have it pay off later. Maybe the Glade is like where we cut. Grand Portal's a card we can run. It's just so brutal in best of 1, man. Red decks just salivate. They just salivate at your Grand Portals. Gix's command looks really out of place, but Feels like you have to have something to go to before the opponent completely crushes you. I'm tempted to just cut it. Try to, like, maybe we just overpower them. Maybe we can even go wider than the go wide decks. Having a fallback thing like this seems like a mistake. It's one of my crutches for sure. Let's try it. I'd say we try it. Oh, wow. You guys are so thoughtful. The deck just dies if we don't draw exactly the card that we built around. You're smart. There is a tutor though, right? Intent? I don't want to run too many of these, that's for sure. I'll try one. I'll try one. I'll go back to 3 on the Sprout. There's a new skeleton tutor. There is! This doesn't seem like the right deck for it. Seems like Intent's better. I guess... Oh wait, the skeleton is a token. So it does work with roots. We'd try both. It's definitely not something I want to go too hard on. What does Ichor Drinker do? It's not the worst, but I think everything else in our deck is better. Let's see what happens. You guys game? And right away, we're doing tap land stuff. Woof. Woof. I don't know. I'm probably supposed to bin stuff until I find what I'm looking for, but having another creature seems really good, and we can sack it to intent. The humans are coming! I think we sack to intent next turn and kill the Vanguard this turn. We can even pay a ward if they play an Adeline. Please have 2 lands on top so I can flip my Sprout. That'd be nice. Okay. They're gaining life. What do we do? Oh wait, we're not red deck. We don't have to worry. Heck of a card. Heck of a card. See what they get. More Vanguard. Voice of the Blessed, huh? I guess that's a thing that we might have to pile on, so I might even be getting another removal spell. Voice of the Blessed with 2 veterans is gonna be terrifying. But I still feel like I have to play this pile on right here. Like we're priced in by not doing anything last turn. I think this is, yeah, this is more power overall, even though it doesn't look like it. Creatures? 1 creature. Not a creature. Hey. All right, that's the 3rd creature in the graveyard. Do we get a pylon? Is the voice a human? No, it's not. Do we have to get a pylon? First time playing the deck, I'm stupid. Or do we have to get a roots? 'Cause I think that I think the voice is just gonna kill me, even if I get a roots. I don't think roots is that fast, but I might be wrong because I've never played it. Yeah. What's this do? I guess it's going anyway. So the big factor in not trying to go off is I don't think I can win in time because of the veterans. They're gonna gain so much life every turn. I don't think I can race them. So I can draw one of these. Does that do me any good, really? Not really. I mean, I guess Tyvar might be the best card. So I can keep it like this, mill this, draw Tyvar. Okay, we'll draw Tyvar. Dahlia's a little annoying, but I want to see what Tyvar does. I really want to get a Willow Geist cooking.
Impressed? Good. It's not a victory without you.
And we'll see if they panic and attack the Jubilant Brawler. People tend to fear Planeswalkers. That card's good. Anytime. Don't try this rational thought stuff. Come on. Come on. Oh. Am I going face? Going face. Not enough, though. I think I'll just take it. I mean, does it matter? It's happening! Come on. I don't mill a card anymore on this side, right? I don't. Seems pretty good. Think. Ollie is a pain though. All right, +1, untap up to 1 creature. Forgive me, I haven't played these cards much. Yeah, you're in trouble now.
I believe in you, friend.
I think we're just dead unless I somehow lose the Willow Geist to first strike. Oh, that'll do. Slow rolling asshole. Whatever. Okay. Can we actually ever be favored against white decks? I don't know if we can go that wide that fast, but maybe we can if we actually have the card in our opener. So that'll be the thing to find out. It definitely felt like I was going to lose when I fetched the pylon, but I couldn't see a world where like I didn't beat the voice. So I think it was right. That was another case though of that Convoke Knight is broken. I'm sure you guys have had those games. These tap lands are nasty. Let's hope we can get an untapped one. Wow. You taking Haterade? Didn't see that coming. Okay, so this is in the graveyard. See if they kill this. Wow, God draw. Impressive. Make a green, put a counter, make a plant. This is awkward. More awkward than I want it to be. I mean, is 3 too many? Putting it in the graveyard doesn't really do me any good. But I guess we try. Guys, it's not a control deck. You can't solve all your best of one problems by sweeping the board. We're going to have to actually play the deck. I know, terrifying. And see what hands and what kinds of play holds up against the aggro decks of the format. You can't just sit there and be like, more removal, more sweepers. You're literally kind of just not getting it, like actively not getting it. I get it though. I love a good sweeper. I understand the compulsion. When things don't go your way, you just want to blow up the boards. This Kumano is a pain, isn't it? We need that card. We need that card. One creature in our graveyard. It's gonna... Yeah, we need this. That is exactly where we have to be. Okay. Well, they don't have a lightning strike. And it wasn't on top. Oh, come on. Did you have to? I was about to do the thing. I think we actually had a chance to stabilize there. All right. All right. All right. We're learning. We're learning. We're learning a tap land is just so bad. Ah, that cottage did piss me off. We need... I don't want to play Thram Portal. And you can imagine, Thram Portal in that game would have lost us the game too. But why do the friendly colors get the untapped fast lands and they won't reprint Blooming Marsh? Like, what the hell is that? It's so brutal. It just cascades so viciously. Okay, so here we are with double Pain Land, but at least it's untapped. We're on the draw for the third time, I think. Gonna hurt. Gonna hurt bad. We're gonna put the pain in Pain Land. Really? Yeah. Okay, dude. Nice. All right, we'll just go for it. I don't know. Let's see if we can actually get this cooking. Some smooth brain over there. I really do want to play the teachings, but freaking Thalia. Thalia won't have it. Need that card. By the time Sprout does something, the game is over. We've been on the draw against the Nuts for 2 straight games. 3 straight? No, we were on the play once. Yeah, I mean, okay. More Nuts. Like, we were gonna lose these games with any deck. One, two, three, four, five, six. You do not need Willowgeist, the card is bad. I'll leave the evaluation up to me. Your name is literally noob. You think they'll attack with the Skrelv? I don't think they will, which is unfortunate. That would be pretty good for us. Whoa, why did you... Auto tapper. Okay, okay. Gotta watch for that. We still have this open. That's right. We get another plant and the 1/1. That's cool. All right, come on, opponent. Send the Skrelv. You know you want to end the game, don't you? Oh, do it. Do it. Sweet. Nasty. All right, am I milling somehow? Don't think so. All right. Hey, we've been good at drawing Pylon. Creature in the grave, creature in the grave. Need this to die. I wonder if I Pylon my own creature. There's a 4/3 over there. If I double spell, it flips. But we could kill it right now and go to 1. That doesn't seem too good. That does not seem great. How do we make progress? They're gonna spin this thing. I think we're just patient. Patience, guys. Although, let's see, they first strike. Oh, we can't kill that thing. Okay, yeah. Never mind. Never mind, just messing with you. That's just a test. Okay, there's a target, potentially. We gotta wait for the opponent to use the Skrelv again. I feel like the engine's online now. Yep, look at him go, look at him go. Do it. Okay, what are you naming? It's gonna be green, right? Okay. Okay, it's not a human, so we can target it. But the thing is, I want my Dream Thief in the graveyard. So I actually think we take this block. It casts 3 spells. This is going to transform. We need to kill it on our turn. And we get our Sprout back, and we don't have to pay the 3 life. Is this on our turn? Whenever one or more creatures leave your graveyard. That's not on our turn. That's epic. Okay. So we go like this. And like this. Careful taps. Save this for Skrelv. I'm good at Magic the Gathering. I don't know what y'all are worried about. Might take my brain a while. I have no creatures in our graveyard, so we have to get some there, but the opponent might help with that. They're at 20. They're at 20. They keep using the Skrelv to try to like get through, and eventually it's gonna work. We're out of creatures in the graveyard. That's a problem. All right, big draw. No, Tyvar, no, not a land. We blew it. All right, so we're gonna lose to Skrelv. I should have piled on the Skrelv a long, like, million years ago. What does this do? Exile target card, creature card from a graveyard when you do make a colorless? Okay. You're going to your death. We have to start forcing them to block, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 real attackers. So we need 5 blockers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's too bad. Oh, we're gonna make the colorless creature, right? We can send one of these. Hang in there. So, crucially going to Knight, so a Brutal Cathara doesn't end the game here. A Case would, though. It's a good card. The good Magic the Gathering card. Let's see if it makes them freak out and go full send. We need creatures in our graveyard. They're going to oblige. Oh wait, we're dead because the Skrelv is buff now. They no longer have a 2-power attacker. Everything's too big. If I had held back the Geist, we could have blocked the Thalia and gained life. Stupid. Almost got there though. And that was against a really good draw. Like, a draw that would beat most decks. Onion, thank you very much for the resub. Appreciate you. And Red Jester, thank you for the tier 1. Yeah, we're on the draw against a draw that would house almost every deck in the format. Turn 1 Skrelv, turn 2 Thalia, turn 3 Cathar, turn 4 Cathar, turn 5 Adeline Coppercoat. I'm thinking about the Ichor. I'm starting to wonder if we have enough creatures, and I'm starting to doubt teachings. So, maybe. Running out of creatures in the graveyard was kind of cringe. What did we draw? We draw a ton of pylons. I feel like teachings is great in this deck, but maybe I'm wrong. All right, what goes down first? Filling the graveyard. God, this card is obnoxious. It's so mean. All right, might be on the draw against the nuts again. I think I'll take the block. We want stuff in graveyard. Can't leave the graveyard if it's not in it. I mean, we are getting the treatment, man. We have not faced a deck that has stumbled even a little yet today. So we are getting the treatment. We have a pretty good hand though. Let's see what we can do with it. It dies. So we're not even gonna gain the life? God, that's bad. Flying is extra nasty, huh? If I had double black, I'd have options here, but I don't. I have nothing in my graveyard because Kumano gets stuff exiled, or I'd have something in my graveyard. Now let's see if I did my math right.
Can't even grow this. Can't grow any of this. Can't gain the life. Can't get anything to survive. Everything's too slow. It's heartbreaking. Going second sucks. All right. I think I actually have to take some of this damage and keep my things alive. The ones that grow, at least. If I kill this, take 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so you have to block as well. I'm dead to like anything, but I was the whole time. Yeah, okay. Yeah, like, so no deck you were gonna build was gonna beat that either. Just keep that in mind. Oh my god, it's been a tough day. I think we were on the draw. I think we were on the play once, and it was when mono white curved out, and I think I played that game badly. One thing I'm really sure of is that the tutor's too slow. That was a bit of a disaster card. And cut those. More creatures. More creatures. I mean, the Scrap Gorger feels the best as an engine. I mean, we're just going to try all 1-drops, I think. Cottage too slow. And we'll try the Ichor. We will try it. I think we're at that point. We can do something like that. I'm banning the next person to suggest Mosswood Dread Knight. Bring it on. You're gonna get banned. I think this deck is gonna be fine. I think we just gotta get it right. Dread Moss Nightwood. Ah, that's a different card. What's it do? Creatures. I can't wait for this deck to play against Temporary Lockdown. Oh, I guess I'm drawing that anyway. So, no ways to get anything out of the graveyard. We gotta get these in the graveyard, but the opponent doesn't know that. I guess the Geist is a pretty clear indicator. So now we're gonna play against the board wipe deck, of course, right? I'm giving you a heads up. I will scoop to Temporary Lockdown. I'm not even gonna play. I refuse. Yeah, okay. It's that kind of day. It's that kind of day. Oh my god. No, go back and look through these games. Like, our opponents have had the nuts every turn of every game so far. I mean, and look at their top decks too. Like the white deck having the adversary for the lethal. Turn 3 lockdown. We've played against Kumano into 3/3 into Godric on the draw twice. The only thing missing is the deck that does, what's that thing? You know the thing. The Gleeful Demolition into the Convoke Knight on turn 2. That's what we're missing. Here we go again. Do we want you in the grave? Not yet. I think you can block and save more life in the future. I'm sure you can. So one thing I've definitely noticed about this deck is we don't have anything with like flying or reach. I don't think. I guess we have the Dream Thief. That could be a serious issue. Vigilance seems weird. Will this get better? I guess we might want to defend Tyvar, but Tyvar's likely to die to the flying, right? Yeah, we need to block while we can now. Speaking of Dream Thief. No, no, no! Okay, auto tapper. Okay. I see you. I see you. I hate you. And I'm going to destroy you. So I know I want to draw this, right? I definitely get tired of playing Roots against Thalia. It is, I would describe it as upsetting. My 2-mana card has cost 3 in 3 out of my 6 games. It's kind of BS. Yeah, Roots is a 3-drop and Tyvar is a 4-drop. We played against Thalia, turn 2 Thalia, 3 games on the draw so far, and 1 game on the play. We have been scammed mercilessly all day. Interesting. The pain lands, it's a really good example of how bad the pain lands are in this deck is this game. Our life total, especially against some flying threats, has just been just demolished from the very start of the game.
Thrilling tale. Never give up. We can win.
No creatures are in graveyard again. It won't do, man. It just won't do. One, two. Okay. Why wouldn't you? All right. All right. This is fine. This is fine. Growing pains all the time. On the draw, turn 2 Roots, maybe. It would be the 5th time we've been Thalia'd. And we'll get mono redded. All right. Hey, they don't have turn 1 Kumano? Oh, this is gonna be the Convoke hand, right? We get to start on a Gorehound, that's fun. Actually, we probably don't even play turn 2 Roots. We play Scrap Gorger into Roots, is probably better. Not a lot of room to brew in a format where if you don't go first, you're dead on, or the game's effectively over on turn 3 or 4. Your turn 3, their turn 4. Come on, creatures. So it's my turn 2, and they have a 4/5 flyer, 4 other creatures. One of them has Battle Cry. An Ichor Drinker was supposed to be the solution? Seems like a pretty bad card so far. Gotta get a creature in this graveyard. Come on, creature. Kind of a disaster. Don't think it matters. I think that miss is just... What are we doing here if we can't get the card to trigger on turn 3, right? Kicker's gotta go. Piece of shit. Who suggested it? Speak up so I can ban you. You are significantly lowering the quality of the stream. You should think about what you've done. They've been flying over us. They've been unblockable. They've been going wide without punishment. My experience trying to play control is that that doesn't work. I play the control because I love it, but it certainly doesn't work. I think we just have to out aggro them, which is really hard when your cards are trash. What is the creatures? 23, 27, and we can't get a creature in our graveyard? We're gonna go to 20 lands, which seems so stupid, but this is who we are. I think that's where we need to be. If it was dealt non-combat damage. I am also done for the day with backseating. So you guys are getting locked. Matthew, thank you very much for the tier 1 on Twitch. Man, if you have to cast this, it's so bad. Maybe... Huh. I wonder. Are we supposed to play ways to sack our crappy creatures? Like the Maverick? They're getting in play. Maybe we're supposed to be sacking them. Running Annihilating Glare? It doesn't add creatures, but... Ivar's also been really bad against all the Thalias. Alright, let's try this. I think I was wrong thinking Roots can be fun. This is the experience with every new deck you make. Because the existing decks are so fast and refined that if your new deck does better than this, you got lucky. This is what I do every day. You are just seeing me stream it now. This is the hell. You can check my play history, although sometimes I do it all on iPad. But this is every day. Noob Knights, thank you for becoming a member. You are cool. Do you think building a new Magic deck is just easy? It only looks easy because all you usually see are the YouTube videos. Draxic, thank you for the Prime. And John, thank you very much for joining the Cool Kids Club on YouTube. You're cool. Looks like we have to play Control now. This doesn't resolve. We can probably stop playing Magic, but we'll see. Gotta lead with it, I think. How long does it take to build a deck? Like 5 minutes. How long does it take to make a deck good? Depends. Sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 5 hours. Does this feel the same way Ixalan did? No, it feels worse. It's not a balanced format. It's a depressingly frustrating one. Come on, give me another creature. Okay, thank you. So when I activate this, make a token, put a counter on a plant. Okay. I want to draw it again. No. I wish I could put it in my graveyard. Can I just throw it in my graveyard? Oh, we Esper. Go blue. All right, gotta keep the graveyard cooking. The Hound was actually really good for that. 20 lands and we keep drawing them. You think Tyvar will resolve? I hope so. We can play around and make disappear. All right, guys, we need a creature.
Whoever slays the most
Send energy.
sins wins. I won't let you fall.
Thank you. Oh. Oh! They can tap for mana this turn because of Tyvar. That's cool. I knew about that. I was totally aware. They won't if I attack here, but I'll just play the Boseiju. I don't think it'll matter. Oh, good. They're Esper Adventures. That's different. Don't play that all the time. We're gonna see what it's like to play against a mid-range deck, you guys. The great lost art of mid-range. It's too bad the Scrap Gorger doesn't have a creature to target. That would be perfect. Oh, hello. You did that.
Now you've done it.
But now your Wandering Emperor is on the field during my turn.
I have got new moves to teach you.
Oh, yay, a creature. Let's go. A creature. We're cooking. We're cooking. This made black. Oh, wait. Hold on. I'm not done yet.
Ready for round 2.
Can this just come back? No. Non-skeleton. Activate only if a non-skeleton creature died under your control this turn. A non-skeleton creature died under your control this turn. What dice? Oh, I sacked this conscript. Okay. It adds 2 power to do it again. So it's more if I attack. All right. So whenever this becomes tapped, exile target card from a graveyard. All right, so we go there. This goes here. This will get a counter. This will get a counter. Yeah.
I would run if I were you.
Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4. What'd I do wrong? I meant to send this to the Emperor. I sent it face. Okay, it's fine. Emperor on 1 doesn't do much. Maybe it's even right to leave it on 1. Ta-da! Wow, they didn't have the Wrath on curve? I'm blown away. We won! It happened. Jay, welcome to the Cool Kids Club on YouTube. You're cool. I gotta get faster at this deck. Oh, it's so not my... Making things leave graveyard is so for me. What time is it? 3? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't know if that's right. We don't have any other graveyard payoffs with this hand, so we might just be like dork, nothing. That's more... It's more a symptom of not having Roots or Willowgeist. But at least Gorehound helps us get to them. Okay.
Oh, I've never crashed a wedding like this before. You're lucky this is a warning shot.
Opponent sees a whole bunch of little creatures on the board. They throw Play with Fire at face. Why am I not surprised? Whenever 1 or more cards leave your graveyard. Nice. Hey, look, they don't have Kumano on the board. Weird. Another one, huh? With double scrap? Let's keep. Poke. Hi, Chandra.
You're really cramping my style. Woohoo! Watch me heat up the dance floor.
I block. No, not that card. All right, we got 2 turns to enjoy our graveyard and our death trigger. Squee that didn't attack. All right. We need more Dream Thieves. I don't have a good way to draw it. Oh, wait. I do. Okay. Do we need more Dream Thieves? There's no flyer right now, but the chick might come back. If that's our turn, are we happy? It's pretty good. It's a good turn. All right. I guess. We can exile the chick with a Scrap Gorger, but then we're not hitting our graveyard? Yeah. $5. How many questions are allotted today? 1. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, burning the face didn't work. Guess I better leave. Oh, okay then. Zoomer Mono Red got bored. That's our secret win con. Get him to scoop out of boredom. How will I deal with a 5/5? Oh god. It was time to wipe. Not the right mana. Okay. Into this, into this maybe? Or is it this into... Well, we'll find out. Let's see what our opponent does. New deck. No play with fire. This card was good. This card was the engine. Let's go, team. What do you think? Will we hit a creature when we play Tyvar? Kind of better. Maybe we should set up first. Squee is terrifying. More glare. Willow. I want the willow. I want the glare too. Tyvar next turn? Maybe we just leave these? Such a waste of good surveil. Oh well. Okay, leave these. Glare might be the missing piece, man. Oh, wow. They kill the plant or the hound? The plant. Yeah, I can make one just like it, you fool.
This will make a thrilling tale. Your story's not finished yet.
What's going on? Why are they running like little cowards? What is happening? Am I taking too many game actions for their liking? Okay, if you didn't say till this part of the stream, you might have the wrong impression of this deck if you're a zoomer. I think we're gonna have to start recording. The card said gain life and they freaked. Jindara, thank you very much for 39 months. Appreciate you. Grumstein just became a member. Welcome to the Cool Kids Club and thank you. On the draw. On the draw. Please no Thalia. Dude, the glares are good. Am I crazy? I feel like the glares are good. You get the Dream Thieves and the Mavericks in your graveyard. We could even try the Ichor Drinker again with glare. I think it was the missing piece. I think it was. Sprout. Start filling. You can kill it? I bet you kill everything. Golgari kill things. Golgari do that. We gotta watch out for Glissa. It's gonna be a pain. Shieldred. March. Alright. My 1-drop. Their 2 mana in their whole play. Their whole turn 2 on the play. We take those trades. It's too bad. We would have milled this Dream Thief though. Yep, there's the Glissa. Double roots. Double roots. Love that. Dude, the amount of actions per turn feels so strong. Options, baby. There's always usually something you can find if you have enough options. Hit. Thank you for the Prime over on Twitch. Appreciate you. Dude, has anyone ever told you you're not fun? I'm over here dorking it up. Hot new technology. You just want to exile it all? Okay. We need more ways to get things in graveyard. That'll do. That'll do. We also have Glare into Activate Thief if we had one more land. Or a token. When it's running all removal and Glissa. Care to do anything cool? Opponent? Hello? Would you like to help my game plan some more? Guess not. I don't think we're supposed to beat a Sunfall ever, so I accept. I just want to make sure that we can compete with the decks that go turn 1 creature, turn 2 creature, turn 3 creature. If we do that, I'll be pretty happy. I mean, this is a deck that has no chance against Jace. That's why I do not play this deck. Hey, they figured it out. Oh, no creatures. No creatures. Alrighty. That sucked. Muted? No, I'm not. I'm not muted. I'm not muted. Dream Audio's there. Turn 1, no thinking whatsoever, play with fire. Start the pain lands. Check, check. I don't know, guys. I don't know if you guys heard that. No land, huh? Oh yeah, you guys can hear me? Okay, YouTube is working. Twitch problem. You can stop telling me about your Twitch problems, Twitch. Just go watch on YouTube. Easy. The pain lands, dude. It's so brutal. It's so nasty. Do. So why would sound only go out on Twitch? Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Too bad. If we lose this game, it's just the Painlands. You guys can see that, I'm sure. The Painlands did it. Come at me! We're just gonna get burned, I'm sure. Dude, you need one so badly, but when you draw two, you're so dead. What's the right mana base for this deck? Can you stop streaming to Twitch and restart it? No, I can't. I guess I need pain-free source. Four, five, six, seven. It's close. It's getting there. Go blue. Seven, 13, close. Very close. Block with this. They bring this out. I think we have enough blockers, but we just need enough to put them on a one-turn clock, right? So... let's see if we can win this. Hey, we won this. Cool. Probably make a video with that. I do have time to make the other thing I wanted to make today. We can give it a try. All right. So I want to do a video about the current popular decks in Standard. I'm gonna turn off the members chat. Also, you guys might just want to join the... you guys should probably just join. It's hard to say, but if you want to type to the Twitch viewers, I don't know what's wrong, and I can't fix it. Oh, weird. Now it's saying something's wrong with my YouTube stream status. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain a smooth experience. Are you guys having a smooth experience? Because my stream quality is good. I don't know. Yeah, you guys are fine? Okay. Weird. Oh, 1 minute later. Stream is healthy. All right. You might want to type to people on Twitch. They should probably just go to YouTube. So, because we're doing a video that requires audience participation, kind of. What I would like you to do, your task will be, we're going to name a deck that's popular and standard before Murders came out. An existing deck. And we're going to see if we can find any cards from Murders that go in that deck. You will suggest the cards, and you will help me find the popular decks. Robot voice. But only on Twitch? What the hell does that mean? Chipmunk CGB? What the hell is going on? All right, let me try something. I might be able to fix that. I relaunch. I relaunch my Go XLR software. Did I fix it? Now it's fine. Don't change a thing. Are you done? Everybody panic. All right. So yeah, you guys are going, this is going to be cut up into a video later, but you guys are going to suggest cards. We're going to suggest a deck that was popular without anything from Murders, and then we're going to see if any cards fit and if they should craft them. Okay? So the concept of this video is that we are going to try to find cards from the new set that go in existing decks. Or should you craft them, or should you keep the existing deck exactly the way it is? Should you not waste wildcards and just, if you're already playing that deck, keep playing it the way it is? Or would your deck be better by adding a new card? That is the mission here. Chat's going to help me. Chat's going to suggest the decks. They're going to suggest the cards that we look at. We're going to analyze it. I'll tell you whether or not you should craft a card for that deck. First deck. Who's got a deck for me? Blue-white control. Blue-white control. All right, let's find, what's the most popular blue-white control list? I mean, you know I want to cover that. Note to future editor, just cut out all the time I spend looking for the list, loading it. Keep just the juice, just the juice. My list. I think what I want to do is go to Untapped. Yeah. What we're going to do is go to Untapped GG and just find the top meta version of the list. Number 5 on Untapped, Azorius Control, 54% win rate. Copy most popular deck to MTGA. Oh wait, that's new meta. We need last meta. I can't turn it back? I can't go back? It's not letting me go back in time. Scammed. My concept. What? Oh, okay. I can do November 14th. Previous meta. I found it. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Let's see. Can I put that on screen? Chrome. I know what I'm doing. I'm making a video. Don't judge me. Why isn't it there? Hello? Got him. All right, cool. Size matters. There we go. All right. Deck 1, Azorius Control. 55% win rate. 110,000 matches. Copy to MTGA. I know a thing or two about Azorius Control. All right, so this is... I hate how I start everything with all right. This is the top performing Azorius Control deck from the last meta. Are there any new cards that go in this deck? Go ahead and make a suggestion or two if you want to. No More Lies. So the top one right away, at least for me to think about, is No More Lies, which is a counter spell that also exiles. It's like mana leak for specifically blue-white. The exile part has been really good for me. So is the part that people in this meta are conditioned to play around Make Disappear. They often have 2 mana open, but they very rarely have 3. 3 feels a lot higher than 2 in the games I've played with this card so far. The issue is that this is still a Cavern of Souls meta, and No More Lies is still very limited. However, in my early experience, No More Lies has been better than the negates that were being run in the list. So if I were building this deck from scratch right now with a little bit of experience on this, I would get No More Lies in there. I've been running 4 copies. I think that running maybe 2 No More Lies and 2 negates is reasonable, maybe trimming on sweepers now, but that is kind of questionable in an extremely go wide kind of meta. But No More Lies, I think, is for real. I would craft a couple copies of No More Lies. What else you got? Intrude on the Mind. Intrude on the Mind is 3 blue instant mythic. Reveal the top 5 cards of your library and separate them into 2 piles. An opponent chooses one of those piles. Put that pile into your hand, the other into your graveyard. Create a 0/0 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. Put a +1/+1 counter on it for each card put into your graveyard this way. Intrude on the Mind is a lot, and it's a little unintuitive. When you actually play the card, it's a lot different than you expect. One thing I've enjoyed about Intrude on the Mind is when you cast it, one trick that I love is, say your opponent's attacking you with a 4/4 creature or a Shieldred they don't want to lose. You can choose to just give them a 5/0 pile, and if they don't give you the 5, you make a 5/5 creature and you kill their thing. Blocking the Shieldred, of course, not great because Shieldred has Death Touch. But if they're attacking with some 5 toughness or less creature, maybe they don't want to give it up. And sure, you spent 5 mana to make a 5/5 flash flyer, but sometimes that's really good, especially an artifact creature in a go for the throat meta. Most of the time, what Intrude on the Mind has been for me is you get the lower number because that's what the opponent's choice. You get like maybe you get a 3/3 Thopter and 2 cards, something of that nature. 5 mana is a lot. When you get to do the 5/0 pile, I can see this card being addicting because that is amazing. But I would say that I wouldn't run Intrude on the Mind and blue-white control. It needs to be a deck that utilizes a graveyard and has a lot of extra mana. And I think blue-white is too slow for this card. I would not replace Memory Deluge with it. I wouldn't craft it for blue-white control. What else you got? Ezrim. Exrim? Ezrim. I wish I could. Can I move you guys? You guys are going down here now. Cool. Savvy? All right. Ezrim Agency Chief is 1 white, white, blue, blue for a legendary creature Archon Detective Rare 5/5 flyer. When it enters the battlefield, investigate twice, sack an artifact to give it vigilance, lifelink, or hexproof until end of turn. I played a bit with Ezrim, and my experience has been that Jace is still the better win con. The decks that Ezrim beats are basically mono red, and often it doesn't beat mono red because playing it on turn 5, you don't have the mana available to give it protection, and you end up running into a Witch, Stalker, Frenzy, or you die to a lethal attack before it gains lifelink. It's not a Dream Trawler. It's not what I wanted it to be. There might be a different deck for it, but I would not craft it for blue-white control. Not at all. What else you guys got? Any others for blue-white control? Is it not on my watch? Is that the name of the card? Not on my watch is 1 and a white for an instant to exile target attacking creature. There's a good version of this effect, but the fact that you have to use it in combat means you don't get to hold up your counter spells. You don't get to hold open options of like Memory Deluge. I think not on my watch is a 1 of at best, but I think that Get Lost, Destroy Evil, and even Fateful Absence for their versatility are better, especially if you're milling the opponent out. That means that there's a clock on the opponent, even if they don't recognize it, for how many cards are in their library. So I would run all those before I'd run Not on my watch. I don't think we talk about Doorkeeper Thrall. I don't think that's good enough. Did we do Proft yet? Nope. I want Proft to be good so much. Alquist Proft Master Sleuth is 1 white blue 3/3 vigilance. When it enters the battlefield, investigate, sack a clue, you draw X cards and you gain X life. It's a mythic, so it better be good, and unfortunately it's really not. In Control it has the same problem. If you spend your turn 3 playing this and they spend a cheap removal spell on it, or they just attack with creatures that are too big and you have to chump block with it, this meta is too fast. Also, the idea that you untap with this on turn 4 or 5, you're still not spending your mana effectively and sacking that clue to draw those cards. You're often better just paying 2 to sack the clue. This card is very good if it comes down late game and survives until the next turn, but often the opponent has removal stranded in their hand that they're happy to use. So this doesn't work in blue-white control either. It might work in a blue-white, more creature-based deck. There are some artifact-based creature decks for blue-white right now where this card could make sense. All right, I think we did blue-white control. Make your move. We're not going to cover that. Nope. We're definitely, we're dredging the bottom now, so we're moving on. Limited card. All right, next deck. Next deck. Anvil? Is Anvil a deck? Where is Anvil, do you think, on the tier list? A small but dedicated group of players want to know. Does your Reddit have like 10 members? Any Anvils? Any Anvils? I'm sorry? Thank you for your request. Your deck does not meet the minimum requirements to be reviewed in this video. Get wrecked. All right. Golgari. And I say all right more than Matthew McConaughey. Golgari has to be up here. Hello? Is there a way to like sort this up here? Not really. Sorry that it's quiet, but the editor is going to add music later, so we have to record naked audio. Dude, Golgari has to be here. Doesn't it? It has to. I can't believe it's... Golgari is not on the tier list? It's in tier 2. I'm just missing it? Is my brain not functioning? I see... Oh, yep. Okay. Golgari mid-range, 51,000 matches played, and our top performing one here at a 55.6% win rate. So this is the best Golgari deck, at least according to Untapped from the last meta. So what cards might we add to Golgari? I think, let's see, what do you guys got? Let's start with this one. Why can't I spell? Let's start with Assassin's Trophy. This is a reprint, so you might already have it in your collection. Black and a green instant, destroy target permanent an opponent controls. Its controller may search for a basic land put onto the battlefield. The thing that was learned in the past standard, if you didn't get to play it, about Assassin's Trophy is that you don't want too many. It's not a 4 of type removal spell. Giving your opponent a land is a serious cost, and it is brutal. It's much better to draw it later in the game. So I would add 1 Assassin's Trophy. I would take out the Tear Asunder probably, and I would add 1 Assassin's Trophy because it's a little bit more flexible and cheaper. I know that Tear Asunder exiles. Maybe you're supposed to keep 1 Tear Asunder, but yeah, I'd start there. I would add 1 Assassin's Trophy. New Black Sweeper. What is the name of it? Cover Up. Deadly Cover Up is 3 black for a sorcery. As an additional cost to cast, collect evidence 6, destroy all creatures. If evidence was collected, exile a card from an opponent's graveyard, then search its owner's graveyard, hand, library for any number of cards of that name and exile them. They shuffle, they draw a card for each one exiled from hand. Deadly Cover Up is a really good sweeper. Does green-black need a sweeper is the question you have to ask. What I love about Gix's command in this deck, I love Gix's command as a sweeper effect that's in a creature deck that is also good against decks without creatures. Deadly Cover Up is in a way good against decks without creatures when you can hit their win con using the Cover Up side. But if I were a green-black player, I wouldn't craft Deadly Cover Up just for this deck. I think that this is an ideal Gix's command deck, and if you already have the Gix's commands, I wouldn't mess with that spot. JD, thank you for becoming a member. You're cool. Long Goodbye is black and 1 instant. The spell can't be countered. Destroy target creature or planeswalker with mana value 3 or less. I think that there are too many Go for the Throats being used in the meta. I think that we're supposed to be trimming on a Go for the Throat and adding cards like Long Goodbye, Shieldred's Edict, because there are artifact creatures in the meta, and Long Goodbye being uncounterable means it can hit ward creatures, so it's great against trespassers and things of that nature. So I would trim a Go for the Throat for a Long Goodbye. I would probably also trim a Go for the Throat for a Shieldred's Edict or a Bitter, what is the card? It's Bitter something, Bitter Triumph. Yeah, that's it. That can also hit a Planeswalker. So in general, I don't think you always need 4 Go for the Throats anymore. I think going down to 2 and using some of these more niche cards can be good in a number of spots. Any other suggestions for Golgari mid-range? Massacre Girl? I don't think anybody's asking for that. They should be kind of intuitive a little bit. What is Chalk Outline? What? You're banned. No way. No freaking way. How's the skeleton saga in here? We don't have any way to sacrifice the token. But eventually it seems like the token's going to die, right? Because we put pressure on them. Seems like a tutor would go a long way in this deck with the one-ofs. Let's talk about it. Case of Skeleton something. Case of the Stash Skeleton is 1 in a black, and when it enters the battlefield, you make a 2/1 black skeleton creature token and you suspect it so it can't block and has menace. The solve is if you control no skeletons, you get to use the solved side, which is 1 in a black to sack the case and then search your library for a card, put it in your hand. What I love about Case of the Stash Skeleton's potential in the deck is that we are already playing a lot of creatures. Cards like Dread Knight and cards like Trespasser and Glissa and Shieldred put a lot of pressure on the opponent. So I love the idea that they have to deal with our creature or sweep the board, and then we get a tutor. And the reason the tutor seems very good is because we have some powerful one-ofs in the deck. Fetching up a Nissa, fetching up a Gix's Command seems very good to me. Fetching up a Liliana in some spots, getting your Assassin's Trophy. So I like the idea of running 1 or 2 copies of the skeleton. I think that what I would do, maybe add 2 cases of the stashed skeleton and trimming on some of the more situational cards. I think 2, maybe even 1 virtue of persistence is okay. Maybe 1 duress, especially in best of 1, is okay. And I'd make that change. I would craft this card. I think it will be interesting in a lot of decks. I think it's good for Golgari. Ash calls it Skeletina. Well, we can't just rip off other creators here. This is original content that we're using untap.gg and chat for, dude. Sharp-Eyed Rookie. I don't think people are asking for that. I think that's just you. It's okay to ask. I don't think that's really close. I think that it looks... Yeah, I don't think it's close. I played that card and I don't think it's good for a deck with black. I think a deck with black just has better options all over the place. It's tempting. Maybe we do have to talk about it. Like, was it better then? We'll talk about it. Sharp-Eyed Rookie. Sharp-Eyed Rookie is 1 in a green, human detective, 2/2 vigilance. When a creature enters the battlefield, if its power is greater than this or its toughness is greater, +1/+1 counter on the rookie, and investigate. I love vigilance in an aggressive best of 1 meta. I love investigating. I love +1/+1 counters. When I look over the deck, almost everything has a higher power or toughness, so everything would trigger this, and yet I don't see it. I really struggle with where I would put this and why I would play another 2-drop that isn't my Mosswood Dread Knight. We already added the Skeleton, which I think has a much higher ceiling. It's tempting, but what card is Sharp-Eyed Rookie better than? If you're looking at the cards in this deck right now, what are you cutting for this card? I can't come up with one, so I can't endorse it. All right. Next deck. What's our next deck, guys? Green-white enchantments. Seems about right. I think I know what's going to be the answer here. This is the top win rate deck for green-white enchantments on untap.gg. 61.7% win rate. Sneaky mega meta call. And as you can see, it's a very, very complete deck. Scroll of Audacity, Commune, Visitor. You've seen these cards. You've been pounded into the ground by these cards. And it doesn't feel like this deck has changed hardly at all since Calyx Guided by Fate arrived in the format. Are there any new cards that go in this deck? What do you guys got? What's your suggestion? You wanted this deck, so what's your suggestion? What cards do you suggest for it? Any? You got any? Case, no. No. You want me to cover a case? You have a case suggestion? Assemble the players. All right. Assemble the players, 1 in a white enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. Once each turn, you may cast a creature spell with power 2 or less from the top of your library. Let's do a quick check. Power 2 or less. 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 That's every card in the deck. How many creatures is that? 27. So a little under half the time you may be able to cast a creature off the top of your library with Assemble the Players. If this were best of 3, this would be the easiest sideboard for grindy games I could ever see. The problem we have for best of 1 is, what do you take out? What could you possibly cut to run 1, maybe 2 copies, probably 1 copy of Assemble the Players? You don't want to cut a creature because that's exactly what it's trying to hit. You could go to 3 ossifications, but I think that the best draws for this deck often involve double ossification. You could cut a Michiko's Reign of Truth. I might do that. The times when this deck absolutely fails is when you have Michiko's but no creatures to put it on, and you just don't do much with it. You could cut 1 Audacity, but Audacity is so amazing with Calyx, and it's such a great card in general. I actually might trim 1 Michiko's. It makes the deck less explosive, but it reduces those draws where you're like, you keep a hand with 1 Generous Visitor, 2 Michiko's, you play the Visitor, they cut it down, you draw, you don't have another creature, you play Michiko's. On turn 3, you play Calyx, they kill it. On turn 4, your Michiko flips, and it's just a 1/1. And instead, you replace at least some of those draws that would have happened with a draw where you play this card on 2, and you start casting endless value creatures off the top. I think that's pretty good. I actually like that suggestion a lot. I would try 1. Yeah, I do not think you go over 1. I think that now you're just creating the draws where, oops, I drew 2 Assemble the Players, or I cast Assemble the Players, need a creature on top, and there's another Assemble the Players, and they don't stack. I would not go over 1. All right, what else do you guys have? Thank you very much for the Prime Fettuccine Alfredo Lover. Let's talk about Delny Streetwise Lookout. This is 2 and a white for a 2/2 legendary mythic human scout. Creatures you control with power 2 or less, as we covered, all of them can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. And if an ability of a creature you control with power 2 or less triggers, it triggers an additional time. So what abilities can we get to trigger an additional time? Draw 2 cards with Companion. That's pretty good. 2 +1/+1 counters. That's pretty good. 2 +1/+1 counters. 2 copies. That's pretty good. The issue with Delny, though, is that your creatures don't stay power 2. They get a lot bigger, so the unblockable effect is unlikely to matter, and the powers triggering, it seems honestly like we have a better double up method in the deck that fits our deck with Weaver of Harmony. And again, we hit the wall of what would you take out to run this card that is not an enchantment and doesn't trigger your enchantment matters cards. And I don't see it. I can't find a single card here that I would replace with this card, even though it seems like it works with so many things in the deck. I think it's a little bit of a trap. Any other cards you think people will definitely want to talk about putting in here? I don't see it, and we have to move on. Overall, this deck is so close to perfect. Finding one card to slot in, it's like the deck is tight. There's just not much to add. All right, next deck. So I've played against the new case that lets you play stuff off the top when it's solved, and I have had no problem destroying that deck. So I'm not sure. I think it's a fun deck, but I don't think it has meta legs. It's definitely a kind of creation of the week vibe, although it's a very cool creation. All right, we can just go off the list. We'll just go off the list. Mono white humans. We want to hit the big ones. Here's the top mono white humans list with a 63% win rate. The most tier 1-y tier 1 deck on untapped.gg. Are there any new cards that go in this well-tuned machine? We're talking about Delny again? Okay. The problem with Delny in this deck is similar to the problem that we already had in the other deck. I think that there aren't a ton of abilities triggering. As you can see, most of these aren't abilities triggering at all. They're just stats going in for the kill. Maybe getting double Brutal Cathar gets you really excited, but for the most part, there just isn't much triggering here. And the unblockability just won't really apply because your creatures are supposed to get bigger. This deck has 4 Intrepid Adversaries, as 4 Coppercoat Vanguards. There's no way I would put Delny in this deck. What else? We'll do assemble the players again. This deck has 35 creatures. You could add assemble the players to this deck and start playing off the top. There are, however, some creatures in the deck with power more than 2, specifically Knight Errant of Eos and Intrepid Adversary. Both of those cards would not work with this, which does reduce the number of creatures that can hit it by 8, bringing you down to like 27, something like that. It was good enough for the enchantment deck, but that deck had enchantment synergy. I don't think this deck needs it. I don't know where I would put it, and you have to remember that this card would cost 3 mana instead of 2 a good amount of the time because you're a 4x Thalia deck. So I would not craft assemble the players for mono white. 10th District Hero. 10th District Hero is a new human with a ton of text, but it's kind of a level up. You play it as a 2/3, then you can invest in it and it gets bigger, and you can invest in it again and it gets bigger. The problem I have with this, it's just not good enough if you don't invest in it. And it's not like we have a ton of mana that we need to sink into things, and we do already have mana sinks. We could be sinking that mana into a recruitment officer. We could be sinking that mana into a Mishra's Foundry or using a hopeful initiate in some way. So I don't feel like we need the mana sink, and I don't feel like the body's good enough, and we run into replacement. What would you replace? I can't imagine replacing Thalia, Intrepid Adversary, or Coppercoat Vanguard. And the Guardian of New Benalia, in a heads up, I think is better than 10th District Hero in a number of spots. So just no room for this new rare card. Novice Inspector. Novice Inspector is kind of a Thraben Inspector reprint. 1 white for a 1/2. It's a human. When it enters the battlefield, you investigate. Oh my gosh, you get a clue and you get a body. But is it better than the 1-drops we already have? I don't feel like the deck is thirsty for more 1-drops. Like I just mentioned, I don't think it's thirsty for a mana sink. I think that we have just enough mana sink already. So is it better than a Hopeful Initiate? Is it better than a Recruitment Officer? If the deck used artifacts in some way, like with Warden of the Inner Sky, or if the deck got into long games more often, I would make a case for Novice Inspector. For what the deck has, I don't think it's better than these cards. The big thing that could shift it is if there are so many cheap 1-power creatures in the meta that Recruitment Officer becomes bad. Because what happens there is if a 2/1 for 1 isn't very good anymore, and the mana sink is expensive, and you're better off with a 1/2 that lets you draw 1 card than a mana sink for 4 cards, I could see Recruitment Officer getting cut for Novice Inspector. But right now, I wouldn't make that change. I think that the meta is still very friendly to 1 mana 2/1 Recruitment Officer. Get away express? Why can't I spell these words? Cringe. Case of the Getaway Express is a lot of text that amounts into a removal spell for damage equal to the number of creatures you have, and once solved, an anthem that gives +1/+0. This card could make it in the deck. There's Ossification in the deck. Is it better than Ossification? That is really rough, but I think there's a case for it. If you are on the draw struggling from behind, Ossification is, probably the better card if you're struggling to keep a board. Also, the ability to hit Planeswalkers is pretty amazing. This one only hits creatures, but the ability to flip into an Anthem can be deadly. I've played against this card in creature decks already, and it's been very scary. I could see a case for replacing Ossification with Case of the Getaway Express. Maybe even a split 1-1. So that is one new card I think I'd consider for this very tuned and very successful deck. And if you find often that the Case of the Getaway Express isn't as good as the Ossification, or vice versa, you can lean in one direction or the other. There's a case for it. Yeah, you got that. What's Warheads? No idea. We're not doing Case of the Uneaten Feast because I think most people understand that life gain isn't the priority with a deck like this. All right, we got to keep moving. Gotta keep moving. Next deck. This Bant Toxic list boasts a 60% win rate on untapped.gg on 570 matches. Let's see if it got anything new from the set. We're looking at Crawling Chorus, Skrelv, we got Fading Hope, we got March, we got 4 Serum Snare, 4 Augury, so the Bounce, the Proliferate, we've got the Skrelv's Hive, the only 3 mana cards are Annex Sentry. Anybody think that there are cards for this deck? Bant Toxic. New Simic Counterspell. What's the name of it? Did I miss it? Must have. Ah. Repulsive mutation is X green blue instant. Put X counters on target creature, then counter up to one target spell unless its controller pays mana equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. The dream is that you use this to target your venerated Rot Priest or your Jawbone Duelist to get more counters on it so it deals more damage. And then your repulsive mutation is both a counter spell and an extra poison counter. So in a way, you get the best of both worlds. I can't imagine it. Like, I cannot imagine playing this card in the deck. If you notice, one of the big issues is the mana base. Venerated Rot Priest is the only green card, and a big reason that you can play it is because you can cast it off the Seed Core. This functions as a green land in the deck because the only green card in the deck is a green creature. If you now then need to cast Repulsive Mutation, you either have to change up the mana base, or you're only looking at 5 reasonable ways to cast it, and you've got Mirrex, which isn't going to be the right color on their turn. So I don't think this card can possibly go in the deck. No more lies again. No More Lies faces a similar problem of a very tough mana base to satisfy. And I think that the biggest reason that we're not going to run counterspells in this deck is because the counterspells have all been cut from the deck. There was a time where this played the Corrupted counterspell, which is probably perfect for it, Bring the Ending. But that's been cut from the list entirely, and it sees more success without it. Part of that is the Cavern of Souls meta. Part of that is people playing around things like Make Disappear and Bring the Ending and always making sure they have 2 mana. And part of that is just that this is such a fast meta that holding up counter magic isn't very good compared to bouncing stuff and proliferating, which furthers your game plan. So I would not add a counter spell to this deck. I think they were right to cut it in this build. Delny Streetwise Lookout again. Power 2 or less can't be blocked by power 3 or greater. That's all the creatures in the deck would be unblockable by creatures with power 3 or greater. That could be a big deal, so you don't have to worry about larger creatures on the battlefield. Obviously, larger creatures on the battlefield, though, are something you're already victimizing with Serum Snare, Fading Hope, and March. The opponent spending a lot of mana on those and then not being able to block with them is a disaster. What I want to know is, Judge, if an ability of a creature you control with power 2 or less triggers, that ability triggers an additional time. Is Toxic an ability? I don't think it is. They don't get 2 toxic tokens, do they? Do they, Judge? I don't believe they do. That's not how that works. It doesn't go on the stack. Now, the Rot Priest ability would trigger twice. So they would get 2 poison counters when you targeted your Rot Priest with a Delny on the battlefield. That's interesting. There's also Annex Sentry, which would be double. I'm sure that gets some of you excited. Is there room for one of these? Honestly, I think I would try one. I wouldn't, like, if you really want to craft a Mythic and go for it, you can. My recommendation is not to change the deck, but if you wanted to try the spice, I would go 1 Delny replacing 1 Hive, because I found Hive to be pretty rough in the meta, but I'm very hard on this card. For some reason, this is always my turn to play on the draw, and I die because of it. Assemble the players again. There's only 21 creatures, so we're not going to do that. All right, got to keep moving. Next deck. No. No. The top version of mono red with a 67% win rate and 200 matches played from last meta on untapped.gg. Looks like this. Does Mono Red have new cards in this set? Shock, I can't imagine we need more shock. Play with Fire cut down to 3 copies in this version so that they can run more Witch Stalker Frenzy makes sense to me. I think that there have been too many Play with Fires as it is. What else? The Story Writer Goblin? What? This? No. The Story Writer Goblin? You're gonna have to come up with names. Crime Novelist. Crime Novelist? Whenever you sacrifice an artifact, put a +1/+1 counter and add red. What are... This is why doing things with chat. But yes, please, all red mages, craft this. Take out these horrible Squeeze. Take out these horrible Godricks. Run Crime Novelist. Take it from me, CGB, noted red mage enjoyer, that you should be running this 1-3. Fugitive Codebreaker. That makes sense. Fugitive Codebreaker is a 2/1 Prowess Hasty Goblin with Disguise 5 red. The cost is reduced by 1 for each instant or sorcery in your graveyard. When it's turned face up, discard your hand, draw 3. Is this 2-drop better than what we have? This list is running 3 Adversaries, 3 Scoundrels, 3 Feldons. I honestly think that when this draw thing goes, it's really worth it. That reload can fix you. And there are plenty of times where you have a good amount of spells in your graveyard, but you are flooding out. You see the 1 Reckless Impulse, I think in this list, is a nod to the fact that sometimes you run out of gas. And how often do you actually use the ability on Adversary? Quite a bit, but there's a lot of times it's just a 2-drop. Feldon, how often do you have 2 Feldons in your hand and the one on the battlefield, and your legend ruling doesn't help and it can't block, and it's very bad when you have 2 or more in your hand. I honestly think that the right thing to do is at least get in a Codebreaker, because if you draw it later in the game, it's so solid. Feldon's very good, but I think if we went with like 2 Feldons, 2 Adversaries, 2 Codebreakers, that might be the line. Maybe it's 1 Codebreaker, 3 Adversary. That still makes sense to me. But the bottom line is, if you're a mono red player and you don't want to spend the wild card, should you be replacing a Feldon? Does this really add that much? It doesn't add a ton. In my opinion, it's not a big difference. It really isn't. So if you don't want to spend the wild card to get a Fugitive Codebreaker in there, I get it. You don't have to. It doesn't change much. Case of Crimson Pulse. Case of the Crimson Pulse. 2 in a red. When this enters the battlefield, discard a card and draw 2. Ooh, so when you play this on empty hand, it's just a 3-mana draw 2. To solve, you have no cards in hand. Very doable for mono red. At the beginning of your upkeep, discard your hand and then draw 2. Oh, I'm getting a little bit of Frenzy vibes. It's slow, man. It's 3 mana. People are like, draw 2 every upkeep. There is definitely a world where you're against blue-white control and you're all out of gas, but this resolves and they can't do anything about it, and it pushes you over the line to victory. Is it better in the deck than a Reckless Impulse? This is a rare. This is a common. Is it really better? Because often what you'll probably do is just win off those 2 cards. Reckless Impulse gets you those 2 cards for cheaper. Also without the condition of being empty-handed, which isn't an automatic. Obviously it's the plan, but it doesn't always work out that way. In best of 3, I would try this card in the sideboard for sure. It's really good against control. It might be good in the mirror if you can draw enough burn spells to grind where you're grinding each other down, but usually the mirror is all about who goes first and is able to find a window for Monstrous Rage. I think this is a perfect sideboard card. I would not craft it to replace something like a Reckless Impulse in Best of One. I just don't think it will be necessary. Goat. Frantic Scapegoat is 1 red for a 1/1 haste. When it enters the battlefield, suspect it, so it gains menace but can't block. And when one or more other creatures enter the battlefield, if it's suspected, you may suspect the other creatures. If you do, this is no longer suspected. So the idea, play this on 1, punch the opponent. Play on 2 your Feldon and suspect that. And now your Feldon's harder to block, right? And you're getting 2 damage through, where maybe if they played a 2-power creature or like, you know, a Denic or whatever, you wouldn't have gotten your damage through. Is this better, though, than what exists? That's the big problem. I can see this getting played in mono red. I think there are red decks of the past that would run it. Is it better than Kumano? No, not close. Is it better than Swift Spear? Not close. Is it better than Phoenix Chick? I don't think so. Menace, flying is usually more reliable invasion than Menace. And if the Phoenix Chick could hand off flying, that would be amazing. It doesn't, but it does come back from the graveyard in kind of an interesting way. Is it worth cutting another card to go down to run this card and have a lower curve? I mean, would you cut Scoundrel? Would you cut Adversary? I would not cut any of these things. I can't see Scapegoat. I think the best card to give Menace to would be Squee, and that's not really what's important about Squee. What's great about Squee is Squee comes back, you know, and creates that extra body on attack. Often you don't even mind it being blocked or removed. So I don't think that there's any room for this goat. This goat is not the goat in this case. $423. All right, I've got to get going. We didn't do Boros, but Boros isn't super popular. We didn't do Soldiers. That's kind of too bad. Soldiers is pretty popular. But I think we hit enough of the good ones. I don't want this to be a 4-hour all-inclusive list. I just want it to be enough for the more popular decks in the format. So I think it is that. Hopefully it's helpful to some people and they have some ideas of whether or not they should craft. The sad truth is there isn't a ton to add, and in a lot of these cases, you're kind of hedging. You're being slightly better in some matchups than you would be in others, and it's not a case of strictly better in most situations. So, you know, do with that what you will. A lot of your decks in this standard are very, very resilient. They're very streamlined, and they don't need new cards, and that's why you see them every day on meta over and over. But at least this might give you some peace of mind of whether or not you should craft things. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I'll see you in the next one. You're cool. Okay. Got that done. Nick, thank you for the prime. Appreciate you. And we're going to call it a day. I still have to record tomorrow's video because it took longer than I had hoped for the root deck to get close to a place of somewhat polish. So that will be tonight. Sometime this evening, I'll go live with the members only recording session for that. But I've got to get going to roller derby practice now today. So we're going to have to end the stream here and do the recording session very late at night. Of course, for the members, the VOD will be up and there will be a members only posting, you know, tomorrow, hopefully of the finished video. So you'll be able to catch what happened to the Cool Kids Club folks. And to the rest of you, of course, those videos are live a day later, so you still get to see all that good stuff. Thank you very much for all the support today. I had a lot of fun. I hope you did too. I also hope that this video goes over kind of well as a different type of video. We'll see how it does. It's another one of my experiments for things we can branch out into to provide more help to different types of players and make different types of content. If you enjoy it, remember to like it when it comes out. And have a wonderful night. Your... Cool.
faked our deaths, lit a match, closed the door, waited for the flash. Greyhound station, paid in cash. It's Lazarus, we're coming back. They say it's darkest before the dawn. We've been in this town for far too long. They say it's darkest before the dawn. We're moving on, we're moving on, we're moving on. Sunsets, no regrets. First chance, last stand, stuck in the middle. Even bad girls, no good love. You taste so sweet, it hurts a little. Make our home where we stand. One suitcase and half a plan. Follow the wolves and sing along. Pass the voices to the song.